So we brought a couple gifts for you today. Cheston's pouring the Baconator, which is our stout that's made with bacon, maple syrup, coffee, chocolate, and oatmeal.
I'm actually very excited about this one.
Oh yeah, Mike doesn't
That's
drink.
8.4%.
I'm sorry, guys.
You can take it.
I should have mentioned it.
The only other bacon I've had was Rogues, and Rogues was alright, but that was like a limited time release, and I think theirs was just like it was just like maple and bacon. So I was interested when I saw that this one had chocolates in it and oatmeal. And when I read it, it said chocolates. So is that different types of chocolates?
Yeah, we use a baker's chocolate and an unsweetened chocolate in it.
Okay, awesome.
Oh, it's a stout.
Yeah.
I love stouts.
Well, cheers.
Cheers,
We'll give
fellas.
this a try. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. 3 sheets to the wind, gentlemen.
Smells very chocolatey. Let's see.
Oh yeah.
Notice no bitterness on the back. Notice that.
Yeah, there
Nice.
is no bitter.
bitterness on the back.
There's
The maple syrup really smooths the bitterness.
Yeah, that's
So
what I was trying to
takes out the
pinpoint.
bite from the stout or from the hops.
I think the bacon is light. I don't taste too much of the bacon. I do get the chocolate and the
Yeah.
Oh, I definitely got the syrup.
Get a little
and
coffee.
the maple.
You said
Yeah,
coffee,
definitely.
right?
Yeah.
It gives you a little smokiness. We don't go
Yeah.
too heavy with it, but
Like
But it is good. I do
Thank
enjoy
you.
it. It's very drinkable. I think like my problem with the Rogues one that they released a couple years ago was it was one of those things that you would just drink like once in a while on occasion. Like this I could see drinking maybe 2 or 3 of them
yeah.
and not not like that other one where it's like, oh, I'll take a few sips of this and that's enough. It's just it was too much.
Oh, that's good.
Do you have any problems
Now-
with Wendy's, like with the name?
Not yet. No, I think we're gonna have to change it up a little bit. We actually got into a cease and desist with the Killer Bee Sting.
Really?
So, yeah.
How
yeah.
come?
Oh,
So Great Divide Brewing Company contacted me,
Oh,
and they had a Bee Sting Honey Ale, so we have to change the name up on that one.
That's nonsense though, because Killer Bee Sting is the name of
Yeah,
the
that's-
sauce that
Yeah, I
the
know.
chicken.
I thought it was gonna be Wu-Tang was gonna
But
have a problem with it.
they patented or trademarked it.
Oh,
wow.
back in the 90s.
That's
yeah.
shitty.
Yeah,
That
so they have
is.
a honey ale that's a bee sting.
But I've seen so many other beers out there that have similar names. Like,
I
why
know.
would they make such a
Yeah.
big deal out of that?
They're punishing
Oh,
us. I have no idea why.
That angers me because
Yeah,
I like
that
Great
seems
Divide.
shitty.
Like,
Yeah, I love Yeti. That's one of my favorite beers. But
Yeti's great. Yeah.
just the business. It's the way everything's going now. There's so many breweries, over 4,000 breweries, so it's hard to get names. You got to be really creative and
That is
check
awesome.
through it.
Yeah, man.
I actually had a few questions about this particular, and then I
Sure.
have definitely a bunch more questions for you. There was the picture you had on the website. You had bacon sticking out of it. Have you ever served it, or has anyone ever drank it with actual pieces of bacon in
You know,
it?
when actually bars started doing that last year when we released it, they actually had the Belgian tulip and they would put bacon in it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool touch.
That's really
cool.
neat.
So when I told my branding guys, I basically said, "Why don't we do that?" So they did that to show that. But yeah, bars do serve it like that.
That's what I was gonna ask. Is it on tap or is it sold in the bottles?
This year it's only bottles. We did a small batch. We only did 1 barrel, so it was probably about 10 cases that we got out of it with these. What are they? 22 ounces. So
Yeah, nice
we
size.
very limited. Next year when we do it, we'll be doing it in more capacity. So we'll do it in kegs and in specialty bottles.
Cool.
That's 9.4. Nice.
And where are you guys based out of? Because the Twitter said Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Right now, I started home brewing, and that was down in Ship Bottom, New Jersey. That was back in 1995.
Okay.
Decided I was going to go and get my licensing for that, and it was a tribute to the island. So I basically took the Ship Bottom name. The name was I started small with the name, thinking that I would start at my house. That's in Delaware County, outside of Philadelphia, and then eventually move it back to the island. Well, we're actually launching a spot in Beach Haven, New Jersey, and we expect to be open sometime in this May.
Oh, awesome.
So we're going to have a 7.5 barrel brew house and then 15 barrel fermenters. We're going to do about 2,100 to 2,500 barrels a year.
Fucking cool. What I was wondering, because you said you and I had read that you started home brewing in '95. What was there a craft beer community in 1995, or was it really just Miller Lite, Bud Light, Coors Light?
I think
and that was it?
Sam Adams was like just hitting.
Yeah.
Sam Adams was.
That was the one.
Yeah, it was a while ago, and it just started coming out. So I got into it after college or during college, where I had some Bass Ale, I had some Newcastle Brown Ale. They were the ones that I started off with, and then Sam Adams came out, like you talked about. So those were starting to come out, and then my brother and I decided we saw a kit. It was a bucket, a spoon, and a can of malt that you just poured in, and we decided to try.
I think you tried that, right? So?
Yeah, I brewed for a while, but like everything, the guy that I brewed with, he's one of my best friends, but everything we had, he just didn't like it. He's like, oh, it has a weird green taste to it. It's bad.
Green?
So we ended up
Like
dumping
algae?
everything. I guess that's how he described it. Where some of them were all right, but I don't know, it was weird. Like we made a chocolate stout that I thought was all right, but it was weird. Like some bottles of it were okay, and then there were some bottles that didn't taste right. So
it's you get infection in different bottles. So when you're cleaning the bottles out, if you don't clean them right, sanitize them, that will happen.
We got a gusher bug, me and my buddy, one time, and it just when I opened
you gotta
the bottle.
lean into the microphone.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
When I always does this.
He had a couple beers, that's why.
I opened the
I saw him earlier. I can attest to that.
We had a guy at Wawa yell at him to get closer to the mic.
when we opened the bottle, the thing just went, just hit the
I
ceiling.
remember.
Yeah, that's a sign of infection.
There's a place like when you said that they bottled their own soda, and just on the shelf sometimes the bottles would explode.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
Now, how many batches did you guys go through that? Like, did you get a lot that
perfect
were
it.
infected?
Actually, not too many. When we were home brewing, just a handful. And then right now I'm based at a Delaware County. It's a one-barrel brewery. So we brew and really don't have to throw out anything. Sanitation is really important. So make sure that it's just basically like being a glorified janitor, being a brewer. So you do more cleaning than anything. As long as you're on top of that, things turn out well. So we don't try to throw out beer. We try to drink it.
Yeah. Now, how well, when you first started doing the home brewing thing, how well were your beers received at first? Was it just like a really cool novelty thing? Like, oh, these guys, two buddies are brewing beer. This is awesome. Like, how did that go?
Start brewing just for ourselves. And what happened is through the years, I got more and more into it. So we started out with the cans of extract and some hops, and then eventually went to an all-grain system where we'd mill the grains, get everything together. So the first process when you're doing just a can of malt, that will take a couple hours. And then when you're doing it all grain, it actually takes about 6 or 8 hours to do. Got more and more into it, and then I'm a total geek, computer geek, so I built a system that I built a control panel that automated everything. So I'd be able to turn on my burners, my propane burners, stops and starts with just a computer program. I was able to turn it on and off, and then the pumps on and off, and do that all through an iPhone.
Wow, that's
So,
cool.
yeah. And then what happened, the process control made the beers better, and then I enjoyed brewing so much, I kept on brewing, but I couldn't drink all of it. So then that's when I started giving it out to people, and people said, your beers are really good, you should try to do something. And then one night when I was drunk, I decided to incorporate and, go from there. So
Was it difficult to get all whatever licensings were involved to start a brewery and get it all set up?
Yeah, there's a lot of regulations in place. So the first step was I was looking at Plan A or Plan B. Plan A was to start out of the garage that was attached to my house. I had to get permission from the local government. If that didn't work out, I was going to go to Plan B and go to commercial space. I have 4 kids at home and a wife, so Plan A would work better with her to kind of prove this out. First thing I did was go to my township, gave them a check for $500. They advertised against me. They put a big sign on my front lawn saying I was starting a brewing enterprise, and sent letters out to a radius around me of neighbors. And what happened from there is everybody went to township building saying, what is going on with a brewery coming to our neighborhood? We don't want this. And I'm in a really suburban neighborhood.
Wow. Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So people were going nuts. I went back and countered, and I walked around into that radius, got all the addresses, and talked to the neighbors one by one.
Cool.
Told them what I was doing. And since I was doing it on my back porch for 12 years out of that house, I said, if you didn't notice any noise, if you didn't notice any smells, you didn't have any problems, I don't see why you would have a problem with it now.
It's like they think
Yeah.
you're making meth or something.
Yeah. Well, that's what one neighbor.
It's just
Wow.
a local scumbag government for you.
Yeah, and that's what we went to the
that's it.
zoning hearing, and the one neighbor protested. She was like 88 years old, and she basically said I was going to be the next Budweiser, take over the
Yeah.
whole house, turn everything into a brewery.
Oh yeah, sure.
So we got approval from that, and then we actually had to apply to the state government for our manufacturer's license, and then also the federal government TTB.
Wow.
So about a 6-month
Prohibition.
process. Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know if you said already, when did you start your brewery? When did that?
So I incorporated in 2011, May of 2011, and then I started the licensing process in 2012. I got licensing from the state of Pennsylvania and from the federal government in the fall of 2012, and that's when we start brewing and getting everything going.
Do you have like a restaurant or a brew pub or just a
No,
brewery
I
right
actually-
I don't know if you want to
it's-
pour me more. Or...
I'll have to show you pictures, but it's basically out of one car garage. So it's just a brewery, and then from there,
So good.
I make the beers there and get them distributed through kegs and cases of beer.
Cool.
And what we do now is because the demand became so great, we actually brew with another brewery up in Percy, which is in Montgomery County. So instead of doing 1 barrel batches, we do 15 and 30 barrel batches, and that enabled me to kind of go with my distribution and get that in 3 states. So I'm in Pennsylvania, Jersey, and Delaware. So we do about 5 or 6 brands now. And now, since we're doing that, that enabled us to be able to make the move down to LBI. That will be happening in a couple months.
Awesome.
Because I don't think LBI, they don't have any breweries.
No, we'll be the first.
That's
so
cool.
Very excited about that. The location.
I like the
it's in
artwork
Beach
too.
Haven.
Who does that?
Goodwin Design Group does that for us. It's actually a guy in my town that approached me. He wanted to do it about a year ago. Came to me and said, "I'll do all your branding. Just give me kegs of beer for a party." I get offers like that all the time, so I blew him off. And then about a year later, when I was ready to do this, I saw that he was linked in with friends of mine and Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So I started asking about him. He was a good guy. We met, and they just kind of blew my socks off by just the labeling and everything they're doing
Yeah.
for
Reminds
me.
me of, was it Rocksteady from the Ninja Turtles?
Yeah. I like too the jersey and the PA.
Now you seem
the
to
side, that's
listen
awesome.
to what your consumers say, because I've noticed when you first did the Killer Bees thing, even my buddy who had tried it, apparently released at the hop sauce, I think.
Yeah, that's how
He said it
started
wasn't
out.
like spicy
Mhm.
enough the first time, and I was on your Untapped feed, and other people were saying that same thing too. So the next batch you made, you actually did make it spicier.
Yep.
Do you use their sauce, the Ludicrous? Or...
It's actually the Killer Bee Sting sauce. So what we did is
that's
the
what
hop
the sauce
sauce
is.
happened the first year, and it was for hot sauce and beer enthusiasts. After the first year, I guess there was 3,000 people that went there. I went to the owner of the Chicken or Yag, Mark Cohen, talked to him, and said, "Hey, why don't we combine forces here and make something that will be a collaboration between us that will be both for the hot sauce fans and the beer fans." So I could look at one of your hot sauces, pull the ingredients out of that. So I pulled out the habanero, cayenne pepper, and then also the honey, and then put it into an IPA. And that's how that was born. So it's not actually the hot sauce, because the vinegar would kill the beer,
Okay.
but it's the
Right.
components that are inside the hot sauce.
And it hits the tongue like a honey ale kind of, and then it just burns.
It's good. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
The burn.
Yeah.
It burns.
Now was
It's
it
better going in than going out, trust me. Yeah.
so? Now was the criticism of it not being spicy enough the first time? Was that something you agreed with?
Yeah,
or-
I definitely agree with
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
I thought it could be amped up a little bit. It was drinkable, but we wanted to amp it up a little bit. I think right now it's a little too hot, so we'll probably scale it back a little bit.
Okay.
So we don't kill people. It's funny on the reviews. You talked about Untapped. That's a great tool that I use,
Yeah.
social media, to see how people are responding to the beers. I'm actually able to contact people. So if I see somebody has a bad experience, I could see why they had a bad experience or what happened with the beer.
Is that like
I
the
was
thing
wondering-
Christian did?
Yeah,
Is
and
that
I
thing on
use it
his-
too every now and
Okay.
then. I was wondering about that with like how you deal with like really bad criticism, because like I got this funnel cake beer one day,
God.
and it was terrible. It was like if some guys in Cherry Hill, Boardwalk, something, I don't know, man, it was awful. And I went on to Untap and I said what I thought it tastes like. It tastes like, to me, cheap beer that you poured a cream soda into. And the brewery
Did they like that?
liked it. Yeah, the brewery went and liked my post. I'm
Oh,
like, did you read that?
I was
Did you
being
understand
sarcastic.
that I was kind of putting your beer down? Like,
Maybe they liked. Maybe that's what they were
like-
going for.
right, that's what I was thinking. Maybe that's what they were going for, or maybe that's just how you battle the criticism. You're just like,
I don't know
"Oh,
how
I
they
like it."
rate their beers, but I actually look at every single rating and see what people think. So
Oh, there's.
I
rating
kind of
too.
watch what they're doing. I don't get offended because people have different tastes.
Yeah.
So if somebody rates my beer really bad, that's fine. Sometimes it's personal, but I just let it slide because the internet's a great thing and the internet's a bad thing.
Yeah.
So
we know.
you're going to get slammed at times. You can't do everything perfect. So we try to make the best beer possible. We know everybody's not going to like it. It's funny with the bee sting, killer bee sting at times, because people will drink it and they'll like, oh, we didn't know it was a pepper beer, and it's written all over the beer.
Oh, right, yeah.
Okay, but
Killer bees thing.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you
Stay
too.
away.
I saw some of them are done in whiskey barrel aged
Yeah.
and rum barrel aged. What does that do different to a beer?
What it does is it basically smooths the beer out, I believe. We have another one. If you guys are empty, I'll give you this.
Yeah.
This is our flagship IPA. It's called the Shack. It was named after the Causeway Shack, the Duck Shack. That's no longer there
Oh,
after.
it's not there anymore, right?
Yeah.
I saw it for the longest time.
Sandy took that thing.
Yeah, exactly. So we named it after that in memory of the Shack. That was kind of every time I went onto the island and first got onto the island, that was my welcome to the island. That's a Mosaic IPA. It's a 3-hop IPA. It's 7.6%. And then what we did is I got rum barrels from South America, and then I aged the beer for 6 months in the rum barrels. And what you'll pick up from some of the vanilla from the barrel. You'll pick up some of the yolkiness, a little bit of yolkiness, and some of the sugars from the rum.
Cool.
But anything I could put in a barrel, I love to put in barrels. I use a lot of whiskey barrels, rum barrels, bourbon barrels. I have tequila barrels.
I saw too. What is it? The Shuby?
Yeah, the Shuby I haven't barrel aged. Shuby is just our pale ale that I haven't done in a while, but when we get into the new facility, we'll definitely do.
I didn't know if you did that for the summer.
Yeah, that will be one of our summer beers.
Nice.
That and Beach Patrol, Hefeweizen, which is our German wheat beer.
Okay. Now, do you prefer IPAs? Because I noticed like most of your
that's
main
unique.
beers are IPAs. Besides the
is
you had a
amazing.
stout, I think,
Real smooth.
if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we have a
Drink all day beer.
we have a
that's what I
stout.
was just
We have
Yeah,
a
that's-
port, not a porter. We have
We
a
didn't bring any of that.
Hefeweizen, which is the Beach Patrol Hefeweizen. That's light, nice and light. We have the Shack. We have the Double Overhead IPA. We have the Pumpkin Ale. We're going to start getting in
I saw the
Belgians. I just
pumpkin.
hired a brewer from down south, and he comes with a Belgian influence. So he's going to bring those into our lineup. So in a new facility, we'll have a tap room. We'll have about 7 or 8 taps that are standard beers. We'll have 2 seasonals, and then we'll probably have like 1 or 2 off-the-wall beers that we're trying.
This is citrusy, right?
Yeah, man, that's the hops.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is good. That's like a lot of IPAs just
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
like punch you in the mouth.
It's just like you said, it just something I could drink
And
all
bite
day.
your throat.
Yeah.
There's none of that.
The problem with this
This
is
is
it's
very
7.6%. So you're drinking that all day. You're
That's
gonna
what
be
I was
on your
wondering.
butt.
Slowly all day.
That's good. Is it 17? You said
7.6.
7. Oh, I think it's 17. I was
Yeah,
like, it doesn't have that strong of an alcohol.
Yeah, you're in trouble if
that's
it's
good
17.
cloaked.
Yeah.
But no, this is very good though. It's got very
Yes.
flavorful. It's nice. Yeah, I like it.
This was modeled to actually have the bitterness slide through. So, like you said, a lot of IPs are upfront and aggressive. We model this just to slide straight through the beer, so you
Yeah.
wouldn't get overwhelming bitterness. A lot of people that don't like IPAs pick up on this, but you'll get all the hop notes, all the floral notes from this, and it's just an enjoyable
Yeah.
beer.
Yeah, it's got that grapefruit taste to it, and then I
Yeah,
can
that's
taste
what
all,
it is.
the
I was
hops
trying
and
to-
grapefruit. Yeah,
You get a lot of grapefruit, pineapple,
Yep.
passion fruit, stone fruits in there.
yeah, it's good, man. That's
Thank you.
that's
It's amazing.
one of the better IPAs I've had in a while. Yeah, I actually have. I don't know. I feel bad talking shit on other people's beers, but I just
Well, you've
bought.
been doing it.
but
so
I do it
great.
anyway.
I'm afraid to leave.
I was gonna say.
Like,
This is gonna be bad. I'll listen in a
just-
couple weeks and be in trouble.
I have in the fridge this IPA. What's the brewery? Elysia or something? I don't know. It's like their space dust, and it looked
Okay.
it looked good, and it's like 8.2, and they're like, oh, it's really hoppy, and it's just bland. It's the blandest thing I've ever had. I think I dumped 2 of them out because I'm
Oh,
like,
wow.
this is just there's no flavor to this at all. And
I didn't mind
just-
it.
I just thought it
okay.
was bland.
I think a lot of times that could actually not even be the brewery. It could be that it was sold out here. They're from the West Coast. It comes to the East Coast. A wholesaler or a store could sit on it for a year, and then all those hops fall out. With the hops, they're very volatile. So when I brew something, I try to get it out in the market and get it sold within like 60 or 90 days, so you don't lose any of those flavors or aromas. And that's why we like being local. Have these bigger guys that have the beer all over the place. We're local, so we can get you the freshest beer possible.
I
Awesome.
got a question. Do you guys use like the pellet hops, or do you guys use the straight up like?
The whole leaf hops, it depends on what we could get. So a lot happened in the industry now where a lot of the hops are pelletized because the freshness, they don't spoil. If they
Yeah.
pelletize, it's more compact, it's easier to keep fresh. They put them in nitrogen bags, seal them up, and then you can put them in your freezer so they work out really well. The whole hops are a little harder to keep fresh and keep, from going bad. So we use a combination. When I like to dry hop, I actually like to use whole hops, but in the pellets, I like to, use those for bitterness and different components that are different stages of the beer when we're adding them in.
I was telling you a good question, but more is good too. Pete.
Yeah, we have some other ones for you to try too.
This is great.
Did you try this?
Do you distribute in this area yet, or?
Yeah, we're distributing this area. I'm not sure we're in Tuckerton, but around the island, we're usually in Spirits Unlimited in Manahawkin.
Cool.
Some of the bars that pick us up are Applebee's on Manahawkin.
I
has
saw
us.
that.
Yeah. And then I know Atlantic City, they have, I was just down there this weekend in Vagabond.
Yeah, I saw something.
Yeah, Firewaters, Wingcraft, on the island, Arlington, Tucker's, Daddy-O.
Nice.
Important
question: can I get this in a 6-pack, or do you just sell it in the dinner bottles?
Or? You know what? Honestly, these are just for now. And then when we get in a new building, we're actually going to buy a canning line.
Okay.
So we're going to start canning those in 12-ounce
Nice.
cans.
Cool.
Nice.
So you'll be able to do that. We'll have a full tap room. So when you come in a tap room, you'll be able to do taste, samplers, drafts, growlers, and then you'll be able to take out 6-packs or cases or kegs. So we'll have everything for you there.
That's cool. How many events do you guys do a year, like Beer Fest and these salsa events or whatever?
I say Beer Fest probably around 10 to 12, pretty much every month. I think as we get into the new facility, we'll probably do more and more. We have one next week down in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Big Brew Fest, and that's at the convention center. So that's a 2-night one, Friday and Saturday night.
And who orders? Do people order individually, or is it just the bars?
Right now, it's a bars. I mean, even in my small space, I have people coming over and getting kegs. I'll have people call up. I just had a lady email me 2 days ago that she was chartering a bus and going to get 25 people. Then she wanted to go to our brewery first. I'm like, well, wait a second. Maybe I should call you first and explain it, because she was coming in the middle of February. I'm like, you're going to have to stand outside with 25 people because it's a single-car garage. I don't mind doing a tour. Like, I've done bike tours. I constantly have people coming over. As long as people call and let me know or email me, I'm fine with doing it if I'm around. When we get in a new facility, we'll be able to do it all the time.
Nice.
But back to your question, yeah, right now it's just basically bars. I have a wholesaler that distributes to the bars. So either people will tell me, the bars or restaurants will tell me, I'll get them in touch with a wholesaler, or the wholesaler has relationships.
So I want to go back to asking about like the Beer Fest. Are those always like good experiences? Because like I've been to a lot of Beer Fests and I've never seen really like any fights break out. Everything seems like people are just so calm and down to earth at Beer Fest for some reason, which you wouldn't expect. But from my experience, like I've been to the AC Beer Fest 3 or 4 times. I've been to a couple in Pennsylvania and Quakertown. I've been all over the place, and usually they're great experience. So as a vendor, is it a great experience all the time, or do you have does it get stressful?
No, I think it's good. I mean, you have some elements at times things go wrong when you're there, but so far it's been great. That's how we came to market. So I was thinking about doing this process, and before the licensing, I decided, hey, you know what, the best way to do this is actually get to the Beer Fest, give my beer away at the Beer Fest for free, and then get firsthand feedback from the customers. So we were able to do that, and then what I was able to see was people kept on coming back for the beer, and then my lines start getting longer and longer and longer in the other breweries. So I'm like, you know what, I think I got something here.
Nice.
So for me, it's a good experience. And then I usually attend every one, and what happens is I get the relationships with the consumers because I get to start talking to them, and then like your point about the Killer Bee Sting or different beers, I'm able to get instant feedback, and I'm able to use that feedback to kind of tweak beers if I need to tweak the beers. Yeah, I haven't seen anything bad happen.
It's always been like weird. Like I've been to a lot of Beer Fests, and they've all been very chill, very.
I used to work at the Rat, and the one time I ever saw anything was a sports bar. It's the only time I ever seen anything bad happen. Some dude got bottle smashed across his face.
Oh,
Like
where
you
was
said,
this at?
It was in Belmar somewhere.
Oh,
I
okay.
can't remember the name of the place. We usually didn't do sports bars, but this one event was something on a Sunday, and yeah, that's how it ended.
Oh, man.
But we did go to a beer festival once, and it was like you said, it was really chill, just real laid back, and it was like 12 in the afternoon. So one time I didn't
Everybody's
feel like a
always
scumbag getting drunk at 12.
Just a good experience over.
And everybody always leaves a
fest.
beer fest like drunk, but it's like it's a weird kind of drunk. Like it's not a like let's fight and
a
fuck
happy
people
drunk.
off drunk. It's a happy drunk. It's like we're
usually
like a family drunk.
It's usually happy and a horny drunk. That's
Yeah,
what I see.
yeah, that's a slim.
That's basically what it is.
I won't go further than that.
So now, you said you were a big computer guy. Is that what you had went to college for? Was to get into doing stuff with computers? Like, did you work for a software company or anything like that?
I actually went to college for business, and then when I got out, I mean, when I was in college in the 90s, computers weren't really out, and then they started coming out. And then when I got out of college, and the first job I got was with a medical software maker. So then they made programs for nurses to get their continuing educational credits, and I ended up selling those. And then I went to another company and sold. And then when the .com crash happened, I actually got certified in a bunch of different things, networking, server technologies, and then started a consulting business. And that's where I became more of a geek and doing this stuff.
Okay. And right now, have you dropped all that for the brewing, or do you still do all that?
No,
stuff
I
as
have
well?
a full-time job, so this is kind of like a passion of mine that I'm doing on the side, and it's kind of taking over. So,
You got one?
No, he's got one.
We're all
oh,
over
wait,
the
wait,
place.
no,
with
That's
this.
yours.
I hadn't finished.
no problem. Yeah, you got to pick up the pace a little bit here.
Come
I'm the
on.
slowest
He's
drinker
got
on the
two?
show. Yeah, I got.
Yeah, he's just
probably
nursing
like
them.
3, like, I'm savoring this. It's very
He's
good.
nursing the beers.
Come on, Sally, take your skirt off.
Going back a little bit, we're going back to the pumpkin.
There you
pumpkin
go.
ale.
Oh, that's what I was
Yeah.
going to ask, because I saw
Okay.
it was seasonal. I didn't know if you guys still had it around.
Yeah, so this is our Imperial Pumpkin Ale. This one is 9.4% alcohol. This one is made with either butternut squash or pumpkins, a little bit of vanilla bean, a little bit of brown sugar. And what we do is we go really light on the spices because we don't want to overwhelm you. A lot of the pumpkin beers are overspiced.
I can't stand those pumpkin spice beers,
Yeah.
like the ones that they just like.
Ton of cinnamon, ton of clove.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
one
I like-
concentrates
I like
more on the
this,
beer
yeah.
than the spices.
And the brown sugar too brings a lot of like that sugar cane
Yeah.
feel and taste to it also, because that gets caramelized when it's baking the pumpkin together.
Yeah, this is good. Yeah.
Because I've heard, I've never had a pumpkin ale before, but I've heard, like you guys just said,
I've
Really?
tried
it could be pretty rough.
every
be
pumpkin
either-
ale every year.
It can
It's
be.
all aroma,
Oh.
and
Yes.
this is just all flavor.
Yeah, this is good.
I think my
Thank you.
favorite pumpkin ale this year was Ballast Point's. They did a pumpkin ale and a scotch ale, which was like really good.
Okay.
That was delicious.
Robin Slim Show.
Hey guys,
These guys can't hear because I don't have
Oh.
speakers or anything.
What's up, Jules?
We have a caller.
What's going on?
Okay, all right.
What's going on? We got.
I'm sitting here and I'm really jealous. You guys get all that fucking awesome beer. I don't get shit.
You could have been here. We never said you couldn't come. She's jealous.
Wow. Yeah. I'll be right over.
Yeah, we got extra glasses here, so come on down.
She's in Chicago.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Yeah.
fine.
I could really use one though.
It's amazing.
It's a long ride home.
You need it on the drive?
Yeah, it was a long ride. Long day and a long ride. So enjoy your brews.
Yes.
Enjoy the show.
Do you have any questions for the?
Yeah, it's for the show.
I said enjoy the show. Yes, it is for the show. This is my job. Do you have any questions for the beer
Nice
guys?
job.
Jules, you got any questions
up?
for the beer guys?
No.
No.
All right, cheers, Jules. We'll have to share a beer
Looks
someday.
like good fucking beer. It would be nice to have one. So
It's amazing.
I thought I'd share.
Yeah, and they're going to
What
sit here
else
and
is
rub it
there
in
to
while
eat?
you're just,
Oh
listening.
my god, it's so delicious.
Next time you come out, we will treat you to some.
There's nothing else left to say.
All right.
Enjoy, boys. I just wanted to say hi.
Thanks for
Hi to
calling.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for the call,
Bye,
Jules.
guys.
Bye.
So now, the fact that he thinks your beers are amazing, I would take that as a huge compliment because he drinks Heineken.
I was going to say, he seems like a Miller Lite guy. When he's
He's
having
a
fun.
Heineken.
These guys every now and then will give me one of these beers. I'm like, this is disgusting. I feel
Right.
full after like 2 sips. You and Christian.
Yeah.
That's why I finished like I think a 6er of Heineken one night, and he gave me one of those things, and it's like, I took 2 sips and I think I threw it in the garbage.
It's definitely like drinking craft beer. You have to educate your palate. Like I remember when I had first gotten into it, it all tasted the same to me.
You also got to find
It's
the
gotta be good,
brewery
though.
the brewery
Yeah.
that lines up with your tastes.
Yeah, the more beer fest you go to, you get that expanded palate along the lines of flavor and taste profile. Over time, you get it.
Yeah. Yep. That's what I always try to tell people because I know like when I first started when I first started drinking, my friends were already into the craft beer thing, so they're like, now that you're finally going to start drinking beer, you're not drinking Miller Lite or Bud Light, you're going to drink the good stuff with us. And they had first introduced me to like Sam Adams, and I just kind of built up from there. And what I've discovered too is like, if I go back to some of those earlier beers like Sam Adams, they're not as good as they were when I first had them. So it is interesting how your taste buds do develop in that way.
And if over time you see mass production like that, you lose that intricate flavor. Things just get broadband. It's the same with wine. They do the same thing. They age them in cast iron. You lose that intricate taste from the barrels that you get here too.
Wow, I never actually knew that.
Yeah, and we do unique things. So with the stout, we'll get local ingredients. We'll go to local roasters for the coffee. With the pumpkin, we'll go to local farms, source the pumpkin. So different ingredients that we could get local, we try to get local as much as possible. Now, it's impossible to get local hops and grain at times. You could use local grain. By me, we have a maltster that I use some of their grain. They're Deer Creek maltsters. So I'm able to use it really small. So I use their stuff in some of the batches. And then whatever I could source, I try to source local if possible.
Now, is it just you two guys? Do you have employees or?
As we expand, we'll have more. So this is kind of my baby, and I've started this over the last couple of years. No real employees besides myself. And then over the next couple of years, or next couple of months, I'll actually be hiring up people for my site down in Beach Haven. So I have a brewer hired. I'll have to hire some bartenders, general manager, and then another assistant brewer too.
Does part of you kind of want to just keep doing it by yourself, or are you looking for?
Oh, no. I'm exhausted. I'm so tired. Yeah.
You should apply.
Yeah.
You should apply. Now, how did you two meet? Have you guys been friends forever? That was like a gay question?
No. The last couple of years, our wives became friends, and we came through that.
Okay, cool. And you were into craft beer and stuff as well.
Craft beer, and I'm into culinary, so I do food. So that's where we come together on like ideas, bouncing ideas against each other. Like, oh, what goes well with this, or what goes well with that, from a flavor profile perspective. So.
Nice. Now,
That's
had
a
you
powerful
brewed?
alliance right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Had you brewed beer before you met him, or no? So you were kind of like, I brew beer, and he was like, hey, that sounds cool. Let's do this.
Let's throw a couple onions in it.
and
some garlic.
So I
and
cook
some bacon.
anything, just about
Cool.
anything. So
That's awesome.
The taste always come first to me. I get that when you taste the different beer. Also.
And I think that's a lot with brewing beer. I mean, I relate to a lot about cooking. You got to follow recipes, and then you find flavors that work well together, and that's what you decide what to put in your beer, and then you basically taste things and see. Like, you could take a 12-ounce beer and start adding a little bit, portions, and then you pretty much expand that when you go into a recipe. If you say that works out, if you want to add vanilla bean into a beer, then you put a couple of little drops in and see how it works, and then, wow, this is really working well with this much in it. Then you extrapolate on top of that and add it to your beer.
Now, right now, you have a decent amount of beers out. Do you just focus on improving those beers, or do you have other ones that you're developing?
We're always looking to improve the beers. So I think with this industry, it's about consistency.
Right.
With my size, it's hard to be consistent, but we try as much as possible. When we get into a new system, it's going to be a industry-based manufacturer system. So the consistency will be there with the beers, and then we'll try to get more and more consistent with the beers, get that quality there. But we're always developing new recipes and things to do with beers.
Yeah, too bad you guys don't live closer, because that's one of those, hey, dude, you want to try this? Sure.
Yeah, my neighbors love me, but they all become alcoholics, so that's a problem too. And that's a true story. I'm not joking about it. I might get sued over that. I'm not sure.
Have you actually turned people on the craft beer who haven't been in the craft beer?
Oh yeah.
You ever catch them sneaking in the garage?
I have
2 in the morning.
I have neighbors. As soon as I get out of the house, I'll see, and they'll start walking down the street with growlers in their hands. So, yeah.
Now, that's what I was talking about, too. I was looking at some of your merchandise. You have can-shaped glasses, which I thought were great. That's
Yeah.
a really
You had
cool
mentioned
concept,
those.
because I've never seen that anywhere else
I'll have to get you
before.
guys a couple of those.
yeah.
I didn't have any hats for you tonight, but I'll send some out. We just ran out of those. I have a couple shirts in the car, so I'll give you some T-shirts, and then I'll
Okay,
send
cool.
the hats
You guys
out.
have beanies or?
Yeah, I do have beanies.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet.
I mean,
Now-
one of the things I think is really cool you didn't mention is the growler. I mean, we didn't bring one. But
Oh yeah, we
That's
have
like-
a ceramic
if you have a
handmade
picture,
growler.
if you have a
Now,
picture on your phone, I
one of
mean,
you guys make those? Or you,
No,
no.
I actually a couple other breweries use this person. He's down in Delaware. It's Romanik Pottery, and they do the custom handmade growlers. So it looks awesome. It's on my
Yeah, I was
website.
looking at those. They were awesome. Me and my buddy at work were looking at them, but we're both like, a little pricey.
Yeah,
they're all handmade.
Yeah, they're
you know,
handmade.
That's it, though. When you get it
Handmade
handmade, like you
ceramic.
said.
Yeah.
But they do look cool, though.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was
They look
surprised how
awesome.
much they cost me. I'm like, wow, that's a lot. But-
Yeah, you pull up at a tap room with that, people like walk out of the way.
We have the other
yeah, so we
regular
got-
shack too.
Oh,
This is the non-barreled version shack. So that's a 3-hop IPA. That's our flagship beer. 7.6%. Like I said, that's made with Nugget, Simcoe, and Mosaic hops.
Cheers.
3 sheets.
Cheers, guys. Cheers.
Oh, my bad.
So that's going to taste a little different because it's not as sweet because it wasn't barrel aged.
It's still really good, too.
Thank you.
This is a little bit more
It's a
hoppier,
little
like
different.
but I like that. I like hoppy
Yeah.
beers, so that's
cool.
cool. They're both good. Like it's not like I wouldn't even
Yeah.
prefer one over the other. Like
Okay.
they're both.
But the barreling, you see how
Great,
that smooths out the flavor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the
That's-
barrel does.
I'm definitely partial to this one though. This one is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a lot of
Baconator?
the
The one that's
Oh.
barrel.
He's
aged.
high maintenance. He likes to spend a lot of money. So I see that. He's got the bacon in front of him. I guess you don't want to take it off him. He's kind of garden nose. One on each side.
Don't even touch that.
I love the bacon hitter. So.
I'll drink up. That's what they're there for. So. But yeah, we're really excited to get started. Construction should start later this month, and then our goal is to get in there in the beginning of May, and then have beer ready for Memorial Day weekend, and then hop sauce, of course.
Nice.
Right now, I'm stressed out of my mind because I'm going through all the paperwork, everything with investors and the banks and purchasing equipment.
Is that like scary? Like
Oh yeah, scared out of my
Well,
mind.
I was trying
Yeah.
for this like a year ago, maybe when we started. Like about, I think Rick told me about
Okay.
becoming, getting on an internet radio station. He said something about getting investors. I'm like, well, what am I gonna do? Like, it's scary. Like,
Yeah,
Gonna
because
go
that
hit
could like
people
break
up.
you pretty much,
Yeah.
right?
Get
Like,
investors.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I mean, we had to raise $900,000 to get this going. So the equipment cost, loan is pretty substantial. And
Yeah.
then the building, releasing the building and construction in that building, and then employee costs, everything on top of there. So it did a thorough analysis, got a business plan together over 4 months. I actually had one from before when I started, then I had to tweak it, but it took me 4 months to really get to the next step. And now we're at the final stages where everybody's just signing off. But I put an equipment order in on Monday, so the brew house is ordered. It's going to be shipped down to the beach, and it'll be ready to go. So I can't wait till that shiny piece of equipment shows up. It's gonna be awesome. I think I'm going to fall over. I might either that or start crying.
So now my other question is, then how do you find the time? Because you said you work like a full-time job too, and
Yeah.
you do this. Like, do you ever have any time to yourself, or?
Not really, because I have 4 kids. at home.
that's what I was gonna say that too,
On top of
man.
everything else.
Yeah. No,
So
I
keep you
sleep
going.
like 1 hour a night.
Yeah.
One
I
eye
sleep
open.
well. It's just you have to figure out where your priorities are. So like you see tonight, I'm not really drinking because I got to drive home, but it's, I don't drink as much during the week. I'll go out one or two times on a weekend, and it's, if I'm home, it's all business or I'm with the kids. So I find spots where I have to do my work. And with the new brewery, I'm going to hire around me. So I'm going to hire a staff that will be able to help out. I'll be the owner, of course, but I'm going to hire people that will enable me to hand off things and be able to work and be successful and not worry about things. Cool. So
Nice.
He'll make you worry about things.
yeah, I'm afraid of him. He'll be drinking all the profits. He might be on the floor.
A lot of holes in the wall.
His alter ego is the Lamborghini. He actually runs a business where
That's
you
what I was
can
gonna ask.
hire him to put holes in walls for you. There's actually one right there behind that restroom sign.
It's only after a Four Loco. I was going to ask if you guys had anything like that for him, like a comparable Four Loco drink.
Oh, we're doing demolition to get the brewery in shape now, so it's all possible. We'll give you a call tomorrow.
Nice. Oh, you're the best, Pete.
It's like the Hulk, right? The
Yeah.
Hulk.
Oh,
Dump, yeah. Coming down.
That hole in the wall was literally he walked out of the bathroom
slapped
and
it.
placed his hand on the
Yeah,
wall and
I
a hole
just-
appeared. Like,
Pretty
The
much,
thing just
man.
collapsed beneath my palm.
I
I
have
don't
video
wanna fight with
evidence
him,
of
man.
that. Like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
The look on Rob's face was priceless.
Oh
too.
yeah, that's great. We have a still shot of it. That's amazing.
Oh man.
These are delicious.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just.
You
Yeah,
were
he
just
killed
like,
it.
I have
He
to.
killed it.
I just drank this whole
Yeah,
thing.
that's fine. Yeah, that's funny. That's with the Killer Bee Sting, or formerly the Killer Bee Sting, and then the Baconator. They're really popular beers for us. They're kind of cult beers. So the Baconator I do once a year. That's my Christmas beer. I don't like a lot of spices in beer, so for me, that's my go-to. When I think of Christmas, I think of bacon and maple syrup being cold.
Really? Yeah. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
So it's just something that is going to warm you up and be delicious.
Yeah, see, my go-to Christmas beer is Celebration Ale because I think that's like one that's not too. That's from Sierra Nevada.
Yeah,
that's not too.
that's
like,
more
spicy or
hoppy.
anything.
Like
That's
old
more hoppy.
Sam Adams' old Fezziwig. I've always just
I've
really
never
loved
had
that.
What's the one with the cork? Is that the Celebration?
No, I don't think. I don't know.
I don't know.
There's
Christian,
so many beers.
Celebration
with
is
corks.
Christian
good.
had one with a cork, and it was
Wow.
pretty cool. Pretty good. He brought it over the summer. The day you guys came from pizza.
I don't remember having
No.
that drink. I have to make use of Untapped more often because I do every now and then. Like I'll go into these periods where I'll start untapping everything and then I'll get bored of it and I don't do it.
I go on Untapped and do it all the time just so I know when I'm drinking. So I go back and refer. Hey, I like that. Because you have those nights you just don't remember.
Right.
That should be their slogan, I think. For those nights you don't remember, use Untapped.
I had a question and I don't remember what it was. It's just like
You're drinking a lot.
Yeah, it happens.
Like, what? It was a really good question. It was
Okay.
like the
I'm
best
sure.
question of the night.
I
Like,
can imagine.
Damn, we're never gonna know. Fuck.
Yeah, but we're going to be doing more beer fest in this area. So I know last year we didn't do the Makers Fest. So that comes up. I think that's in Manahawkin. We did
Okay.
the Manahopkin, which was down by the lake in Manahawkin.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did the Truckerton Seaport
Oh,
Fest.
you guys were there.
Yeah,
Wow.
I didn't do the one in January. I think Pinelands did that.
Okay.
But we did the one in the summer. I think there were two in the summer
I was
this
at,
year.
yeah, there was. I was at the second one.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't go to that because I heard it was like an $8 admission, and then you had to pay for stuff. And I was like, well, Beer Fest usually I just drop $50 and I drink all the beer I want.
Right? Or you get like tickets
I
or
was
something.
like, I'm not gonna
like-
pay $8 to walk into a place and then pay
And then-
$8 for a beer. Like,
Yeah,
you
right?
know.
I think
No,
the beers.
the beer was. I know my brother was.
Oh, the beer
drinking-
was samples.
No, the beer was you paid for the glass, and that was a certain amount, and then the refills were like super cheap or something.
Yeah, it was like
that.
$5 for refill.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
ridiculous.
It's not
And
too
we
bad.
brought some heavier weight stuff, so you would get your money out of the $5 definitely, because they were 12-ounce or 16-ounce pours.
All right.
So it worked out well.
Now, what is your highest alcohol content beer?
Without being barrel aged, it's Pleasure Island IPA, which is a rye IPA. So we put a little bit of rye in there, and that's 11.4%.
Nice.
Are you planning on shooting for anything higher than that, or do you prefer like you're just gonna stay at that?
Probably right around that range. And then when you're barrel aging, you actually pick up a couple percent. It soaks up some of the alcohol in the barrels, so you'll get that at times. You'll get the whiskey, you'll get the bourbon out of that.
Nice.
So you get a little more substance from the barrel than just the barrel taste.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like I just had the Dogfish had, it's actually right in there, their 20th anniversary, a higher math, and it was their chocolate. It tastes like a chocolate covered cherry soaked in alcohol because it's like 17% alcohol by volume, and I enjoyed it, but it was like the alcohol was just so strong where it was like, probably would have been better if it didn't have that. Like I could have just took a couple shots rather than of something like a hard liquor than drank that. But,
I think that was the first beer he ever brewed was the chocolate cherry.
Okay, was it?
Beer,
That's all right. That would make sense.
Oh,
Why he
so when
released
they
it.
did
It
that
was
way?
good. Like I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
But it's expensive. I go to the liquor store and I grab like a 4-pack of it, and I'd never look at prices when I buy beer. So I just like, oh, this looks good. I'm gonna try this. I walk up and the cashier's looking at me and he's like, you know, it's $10.99 a bottle, and I'm like, $10.99? They're 12-ounce bottles, a regular beer bottle. I'm like, $10.99 a bottle? I can't afford that.
Wow.
And then I went back on New Year's Eve and bought one, but I definitely couldn't afford 4.
Well, that's what even beers like I think Avery Rumpkin, which is their pumpkin aged in rum barrels. I think that's like 17%. They're like $18 a bottle when you go in a store. So some up there. I know Eclipse Stout. They do that in different barrels, barrel aged in different whiskey or bourbon barrels, and that's like $40 a bottle, and that's a bigger bottle, but still, I mean, some of them get up there. I mean, the rum barrel stuff and the Baconator we do are typically around $10 a bottle, something like that for the 22 ounce or 750 mils. So a lot of these you look at as wines. I mean, there's something that are more exclusive or limited that you're going to get, and it's something you're going to enjoy like a wine.
Yep.
Nice.
Where do you guys usually
Finish
get
the first one?
Where do you guys?
I finally finished that very first beer.
Good for you.
Where do you guys usually get the bourbon casks from? Is there any particular source?
We look all over. So I have a source in PA. It's actually a homebrew shop that they have a division that just sources the barrels from Kentucky or from South America. So it's a good source for me. I could get barrels pretty much at any time right now. As breweries are popping up, it's going to get a little harder, but right now it's been really, really good. With the barrels, you could use them once or twice, and then after that, you want to make a sour in it because there'll be a lot of bacteria. But it works really well. So right now I have a stout that we aged for a year, and that's in Heaven Hill bourbon barrels, and then I have a rum pumpkin ale that's aging now for about a year.
That
So,
sounds delicious.
yeah.
Very important question. Did we try everything?
Yeah, I believe so. You can try it again. He's empty. That's why he's asking that question. Well, there's no bacon there left, and you're gonna. You
Yeah,
fire that
yeah,
out of his hand.
A whole
I
glass.
have to fight this Lamborghini.
Love, yes.
Do you want to try this one again?
Yeah.
The rum
I do
barrel
really
check.
like that one.
I don't know. I'm definitely a bacon fiend.
I thought you were like 8 burritos a day.
Well, now that one you do brew that with you ferment it with like a pound, like 3 pounds of bacon or something, or?
Oh no, I actually brew it with 3 pounds of bacon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We tried it different ways, so I think on the website the last year's version we actually fermented it with secondary fermented it with bacon. This year we tried it differently and added into the boil.
Do you guys
So
do you chop up the bacon fine, or you just toss the strips?
Actually, when you're doing the bacon, you have to bake the bacon to remove all the grease and really pat it down. You don't want to grease it all in the beer. And then just basically when I fermented it, I took a small portion of the beer out and then added it to that, let that soak for a couple days, and put it back in.
Now,
without the bacon.
What method do you think turned out better?
I like this year's version better.
Okay.
But I think the Baconator's one that's going to improve year after year, and I think next year it will be more refined. I think this year the maple syrup shined through a little more. Next year I think it'll be a little smokier with the maple syrup.
Nice. Now, do you have any beers that you're completely content with and you don't plan on improving, or do you think you're always going to be improving?
I think with the Shack, our IPA, it won't be improving. I think our standard stout, the Barnacle Bottom, that will be the same. I think stuff like the Baconator, that's kind of a one-off, is something that's fun that we're not making consistently, that we'll mess around with and try to add different things to make it. The Baconator, this year I wanted to, but I actually ran out of time. I was going to do a pin or a firkin and add peanut butter to that. So it would have been peanut butter, bacon, maple syrup, coffee, and chocolate in the stout.
Oh, wow.
So I think next year when I get into
that sounds
in the
amazing.
brewery,
Yeah,
we'll
I
actually
got
get
oatmeal too in there.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I saw that on the label.
Yeah.
It said oatmeal.
Picture of Kevin Bacon.
I was gonna ask if it was Kevin Bacon.
Oh, he's got the red eye like the Baconator.
Kevin Bacon approved of it.
Yeah. I can't vouch for that.
You actually have to, yeah.
We do have to wrap it up.
Take a break though.
What do you do you want me to plug in the speakers and have them stick around? Do you guys have
It's up
time
to
to
them.
stick around? It's
I was actually going to head out because we got to head back to Philly. but
okay,
I
cool.
appreciate the
Well,
offer.
thank you
Thank you
guys
so
very
much.
Yeah, no
much.
problem.
This is awesome.
Yes.
Get out all your plugs, whatever you have to promote, businesses, beers, whatever.
Websites.
Say it all. You too, even if you got like a cooking thing going, go ahead and promote that too. You know.
No, I think the only message here is come visit us, in May when we're ready to go and down in Beach Haven. So we're looking forward to it, and we're going to have beer we feel that's excellent that you'll be able to have on tap and take to go. So, come visit us, say hi. We'll always be there.
Awesome.
Definitely want to recommend this to my brother. My brother does drinks. He's into this stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
definitely have my dad and uncle come in when you guys
Cool.
open up.
Cool.
All right, awesome.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
It's been awesome.
Thanks for having us.
No problem. Thank you for coming here. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's very cool. We will send you our intern.
Yes. All right, guys. We
That's
are
a sacrifice.
we are going on break, and we will be back.
We will sacrifice him. Live next
From a
week.
Mayan pyramid.